It's Rhythm and Soul Radio. I am Marco Nobles. We have our virtual studio open and we have a extra special guest in our virtual studio. All of our guests are special, but this woman is particularly special. Platinum selling recording artist, someone who's created an anthem that many of us grew up with, partying to, dancing to, singing to. Everybody remembers that thing you do. Miss Gina Thompson is with us in the virtual studio. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Thank you so much for asking. And how are you doing?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Glad to be able to talk to you. This Valentine's weekend when you've just released a new single. Nobody. So, um, I'll start there. So, talk about the single and this new wonderful record.
Oh, absolutely, with pleasure. Thank you for asking. So, basically, the history behind the song, to make it as short as possible, I got introduced to this. Now I call him my brother from another mother, Mr. Woods. He introduced me to this track back in the end of the summer of 2023. I did a show out in London. I was asked to do a show out in London with Rough Ends, and during that time frame, Mr. Woods, or a lot of people know him by Woods, he was out there with Sunshine Anderson at a festival. So he knew that I was going to be performing as well. So he basically has said, I'm going to come on over to her show. At this time, I didn't know him, but he came over to the show that I was doing. Um, Actually, it was the day before Sunshine Anderson and performed at that festival. And came out to his show, introduced myself, and said, "First and foremost, I love your work. I'm a fan, etc." I wanted to come introduce myself and, come see your show. We connected. It was something about his vibe, resonated, right away, connected. My husband, of course, was with me, whom is also my manager, and they exchanged information. And then from that moment on, when we got back right away, Mr. Woods was like, I have this track that I would like for, Gina to present to Gina, if you will. It was for another group at that time that hadn't came out, unfortunately, and they had broken up for whatever reasons. But nevertheless, the song was held on to. And so the Mr. Woods was like, okay, he just felt in his heart. He said to me, even after the group had broke up, that he thought it was a great comeback record for me. Even though he hadn't met me, he just felt that that was a great comeback record. So moving forward, my husband and I, okay, we were like, let's hear the track. Thank you for considering me. And the moment that I heard that track, it was like, it wasn't no test to it. It was like, what are we waiting on? Let's go and record this track. It was amazing. And I want to admit, initially it was a little intimidating for me, because having a hiatus for so long and then coming back and trying to do a record as such, I was like, whoa, let me make sure I can breathe here, because the track initially, again, for a group, several people were singing the leads in that song. It wasn't just one person. So now you have this group song that's presented to Gina Thompson as me as one person having to sing it. Nevertheless, pulled it off. The writer, Charnel Allen, absolutely phenomenal. She was able to coach and help me through it significantly. And then the producer, his name is Crazy Figs. He did the track, and everyone did a phenomenal job in working with me, being patient with me. I recorded the track in North Carolina. After I done it, everyone was truly astonished by it and said, let's make this thing happen. It took a minute for us to get things up and rolling. After it was recorded, we had to handle a few things, and it basically was recorded a year before it came out for myself. So fast forwarding to today, once we handled everything, and I'm so grateful that we were able to make this happen, even legalize things, the way that it needed to be. Here we are today, and I chose the day of Valentine's Day. I thought it would be a perfect time to have the record come out. I have a great distribution company behind me, and so here we are. I said, let's do it Valentine's Day. What a perfect Valentine's gift. My husband's birthday is the day before, and then there's Valentine's Day.
Awesome.
So that's the history of the song. Again, when I heard it, I was like, yeah, this is for me. So we just connected ever since.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You mentioned there are a couple of things you mentioned there that I want to touch on.
Sure.
One, the song was already the lyrics were written and the music was done, so it
The
was like
song was
fully
completed.
presented to you. Okay, so
Yeah,
fully
yeah.
presented to you, and all you had to do was sing
Yeah, of course I had to put Gina on it, you know. But
it.
I had to make it my song, but it very similar to the original track. But again, it was even when I heard the song reference, I was like, or not even reference. Again, it was a song that was done, but they was like, here's a track, but we hear you on it. I instantly gravitated to it. So it resonated with me, and I too again was like, okay, after the things you do, this is a good upbeat love song. It's
Mhm,
cute,
mhm.
and there you have it. Nobody,
Right,
almost like the things you do, nobody does it better. So bam. So it works very well.
right. So, so now, how different was this process than like when you recorded, in the past?
Oh
So
boy.
was
As a lot of us have, heard of, the music industry definitely has changed with the way social media is and technology in general. Things are just so different. You have so many artists from my era, other eras, and even newer artists. It's this independent thing that a lot of people are doing today. And hence it's because of the more freedom that artists are able to have. There's more ways that artists can actually have more of a lucrative lifestyle as well, because they're
mm,
owning more, they're able to do more, there's more freedom, and there's not so many, you have to go through all these different channels to get a yes or a no or someone to tell you what you can and cannot sing. So there's more freedom. And again, there's so many ways that artists can market themselves and have things more in favor for things that they want. So with that being said, before it was much more controlling. Not to say that I wasn't, the things that I wanted people didn't consider, or it wasn't asked how did I feel about this or feel about that, but it just wasn't as much of a control factor. I'm sorry, let me say that again. It was just more controlling then than it is now. And I have more of what I'm in more control. And with the recording as well, like I went in the time that I wanted to go and just connected directly with people versus having to go through 20 million different people. And again, the way we even handled business, it was like, wow, you learn so much in this process. So with that being said, I found that this way that we're doing things more today, artists are more kind of like coerced into learning the business and learning things, although it is a little bit different than it was before, because you don't have this major record company that's behind you and all these different point systems. There are still point systems, don't get me wrong, but it's just not so in depth as it is. You don't you that record company's not there, or you're not doing all these other signatures just to get to this. Here I am. It's now me and them, and then there you have it. And so that's what I do love about it. I'm able to be more creative. I'm more in control. And with that, it's again, it is still a business, so you have to conduct yourself in such a manner, but it can be a little bit stressful as well, because sometimes, you not sometimes, a lot of times you have to handle a lot more than you did versus when you were with that record company and you had that A&R relationship, you had that product manager, you had that publicist, you had that whole team that was there for you, your assistant A&R and things along those lines, your street teams that would help promote. Now it's kind of like you're doing a lot of this on your own, or almost even hiring your own publicist, marketing team, things along those lines. So there you have it.
yeah, yeah. Rhythm and Soul Radio. We are talking with the wonderful Gina Thompson, talking about her new single "Nobody" and about her general career. I want to mention because the song was presented to you as a comeback, so to speak.
Mhm.
And a lot of times we see artists that we love and we don't hear from them for a while, and we think they're just gone. But most times artists are still doing things. We just don't see them as much.
Yes.
So were you really taking time off, or were you still working, still touring, still performing, or a combination of both?
So great question. So basically, I myself, just to give you a little bit of history, and again, as you can see, I'm pretty long-winded. So I
That's
do
a good
try
thing.
to.
We,
Well, thank you. Also,
we
it
like
also
that. We
comes
like that. We
from.
want you to talk.
Thank you. And I know that a lot of that does come from what I'm going, am going to be sharing with you. I am also a motivational speaker as well as a nurse educator. So a lot of what happened with me was once I had my second deal, which many people didn't know of after the things you do with Mercury Records. I had branched off and worked with Missy at Elektra Records. She got me a deal there back in, I think it was 1998. Please don't quote me to these dates, but I believe it was around that time. And then I did an album there titled "If You Only Knew." It unfortunately it ended up being shelved on with Elektra Records. So many things was going on from what I was told on that label at that time. Too much to even say at this time, but for the most part, there were things going on there. I was one of the artists in the midst that got unfortunately shelved. A single Yada Yada did come out, and Missy was also featured on that. She was executive producer of that album. I was co-executive producer. I was able to, be more creative or dip into myself a little bit more with this second album versus the first. I was able to do a duet with John B. Montel Jordan's camp was on that album at that time. He was big for the Deborah Cox song, "How Did You Get Here?" Or, "Nobody's Supposed to Be Here." Really, it was Shep Crawford that was in Montel Jordan's camp that wrote that track, but they were brothers and so closely together. So, nevertheless, that camp was willing to be on this second album. Three beautiful tracks from them, one being a gospel interlude. I also worked with Beanie Siegel. And oh yeah. I'm say John B, Beanie Siegel, Montel Jordan's camp. I did a duet with John B. Jazzy Jeff's camp. Eric Roberson wrote Yada Yada, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh
so there's a
wow.
lot that
Okay.
people don't know. So that's what
Mhm.
kind of happened after the first single again that many people don't know. And then after that deal, things that had taken place there, record company just kind of going through what it goes through, there became that separation and a whole nother spill of emotions came over me. I went into a very deep depression. A number of things had happened. And what I had decided to do, or should I say, what God saved me from and what helped me was, He just, God just took me into another direction, if you will. So I ended up trying to make a living because I was famous for broke. So I had to try to make a living because I had at the time one son, single parent, father very active in his life, but still, we were doing. He was the father, I was the mother, and we weren't together, but we still tried to raise our son. But nevertheless, I still had to do what I had to do for me and my son to keep a living because I just wasn't making any more from the industry. So fast forwarding, I ended up getting a job to maintain stability. I became a correctional officer, actually.
Wow.
Very humbling experience, but it's real, and I'm very transparent. Some people may feel as though some of the things that I probably say I should just hold back on, but my thing is, if the spirit leads me to say it, I'm saying it, and it is what it is.
Mhm.
People are going to make decisions and judgments, cast judgments, whatever they're going to do, whether they know that part of my life or they don't. So I just say what it is and I just keep it moving. But I had to do what I had to do for me and my family. And then in that part, I put myself through nursing school, met the love of my life, and then continued on, and I'm currently in the pursuit of my doctorate's degree in nursing. I do have my master's
Listen.
degree, absolutely love it, and hence that's the part about me becoming, like a nurse educator. I love nursing. Mental health is actually my specialty, and my doctorate again is in nursing, and I love what I do. And the reason that I love what I do is because in that aspect, not in addition, or yeah, in addition and similar to music, I'm able to help others. So my music, people enjoy that, they love it. I've been told, by millions of people, for family, friends, and fans, that not directly, whether DM or just showing love in comments, that they just love what I do. And I do it for myself, but I also do it for my fans and people that appreciate what I do. So nursing as well as singing, they're both near and dear to my heart. I'm able to help people, basically what I say, to help them towards health goals. And also just when I share my journey and my story, someone else is able to learn from it, and I'm able to even help people, when it comes to the music industry and making certain decisions and sharing my stories, what I've been through and the lessons that I've learned, being able to help
Mm.
others. So it's very transparent. What you see is what you get with me. And I love being able to help others.
It's interesting because I think a lot about artists of your era, a little bit before, in terms of the importance of reinventing yourself.
Yes.
And as an artist, and just living life.
Yeah.
As you talk about having to get a job, and
Yep.
and then going back to school, and all of those types of things.
Yeah.
And now, how you able to bring all of that together? And there's so many other artists that I've spoken to that have gone through similar journeys,
Certainly.
but people don't really get that part.
Hmm.
Like, they never, because a lot of people can get disillusioned with the industry and that sort of thing, but they don't have, I guess they lose the love for it. So to be able to still have the love for it, and still be able to do life and reinvent yourself, and maybe reinvent the love for, that you started with.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think it's so important for other potential artists to hear, and other listeners to our program, to
Hmm.
kind of hear somebody in your position be
Yeah.
able to share that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, I love that I can share my stories, because again, if it can help someone else, or if they can learn something from it, then that's great. That, as we know, knowledge is power and the key to success. And we're able to, if I'm able to just share that information, or just again, just sharing what has happened to me, if it can help someone else, again, whether it's through nursing education that I may give to someone else about their health or physical or mental health care, or even music. It is who I am. And it's a journey that God, obviously, had and has for me. I know so many times and so many days I used to say, Lord, why is this happening? And now I just say, Lord, I thank you, because it's my journey, and what's for me is for me. And that brings me to the next part about, even with my new music, I'm definitely doing it. There's fans out there that are, had been waiting for years, and so patiently waiting. And yes, it's for them, but this is, also for that love. Like, I'm having fun with this. It's not, oh my gosh, this has to get me that Grammy. Listen, I'm thankful for this opportunity. I'm here to give it for those that want to receive it, and there's more to come.
Absolutely. It was Rhythm and Soul Radio. We are talking with Gina Thompson. She has her new single, Nobody, that is out and available now. Um, Talk about, at what point, when you kind of stepped away, did you decide to come back? You mentioned, you were on tour, and that's how you met the gentleman who had the track Nobody, and that's
Mhm.
how, but you started touring a little bit before that. Was that kind of as a result of the whole Cassidy passed the mic type scenario, or had you already started performing before that even came up?
So there you go. You pretty much definitely answered it, and thank you. And I think I meant to try to tie that in, because your very first question earlier was, during your hiatus, what have you been doing, et cetera, et cetera. Had I been touring? But it more so was the nursing. So yeah, I did step away and did do nursing. But as far as like my comeback, what was that spark? What really initiated that thing? It most certainly had a lot to do with back in March of 2021, or should I say a little bit earlier on, the beginning of March. This was our COVID time frame as well.
Yeah.
I had got a few people that I know from where I grew up at reached out to me, was like, hey, bow-legged Lou is trying to get in touch with you. And I'm like, huh? And he's like, yeah, his name's DJ Flair. DJ Flair is a good near and dear friend of mine, known him since high school, growing up, etc. He was like, and I guess DJ bow-legged Lou got his information from someone else. But nevertheless, DJ Flair reached out to me and was like, hey, G, um DJ Bowlegged Lou wants to get in touch with you, this DJ Cassidy. And I honestly, I was so into the nursing and doing what I was doing, raising, because I now have 3 children total, being a wife, just doing other, my normal 9 to 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
I really didn't even know of DJ Cassidy. So when I told my friend, I said, go ahead and give Bow-Legged Lou my information, and we'll kind of go from there, because he just didn't want to give it out to him. Moving forward, he gave Lou my information. Bow-Legged Lou reached out to me and gave me the whole breakdown. And I was like, okay, this is good. I was like, but I haven't been singing in a while. So I don't know how this is going to pan out, but I'm feeling it. It resonated. And I was like, okay, I wasn't going searching for this. It came to me. So maybe this is, God's way of speaking to me in that aspect, or whatever. I'm just going to go into this, not with all these crazy expectations, and then just do this. So, sure enough, after speaking with Bow-Legged Lou, he gave my information to DJ Cassidy. DJ Cassidy and I then had our conversation, and he was like, his people had already gotten in touch with Missy, and that Missy was going to be reaching out to me soon as well. So lo and behold, all that came to fruition together. We spoke, and then eventually I got a call from Missy. She and I had reconnected, for that time frame as well. And I did the pass the mic, and his DJ Cassidy's crew came to my house. We recorded. Great experience, very professional. Nice check as well. I can't lie about that part. So very thankful. And I was like, this is amazing. Then shortly after that, I still didn't have like all these, like, okay, wow, I'm going to wait for this to air. Told all my family and friends, millions of views when that came out. So thankful. It was a great experience. And then slowly but surely, I started getting some calls here and there, from people after that video, to do some things. And then um, I ended up doing shows in between, again, like I said, here and there. And then I got this big call. Um, the end of December, the end of 2023, that DJ Cassidy was now doing this thing live, and he also wanted me a part of that. So it was 2 shows actually. The first one was scheduled for February 9th, Valentine's weekend-ish, or somewhere around there,
Right.
2024, Greensville, North Carolina, Coliseum. I think I'm saying that correctly. So me, along with a host of
Greenville or
other
Greensboro?
Greensboro. I'm sorry, did I say Greensville?
Greensboro. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I
Okay.
only say that because my family
Mhm.
is pretty much in Greenville, North Carolina. And
Yes.
I would have been like, oh my God,
Yeah.
how
No.
did I miss
Thank you
that?
for.
But yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for being attentive and listening to that, because yes, I do know Greensville as well. This was Greensboro, North Carolina, and it was an amazing experience being back on that stage like that, and with amongst all the other great artists that he had. Such a
Mm.
huge turnout. And even prior to that, if I may back up just a little bit, prior to
Uh-huh.
doing that show in February, DJ Cassidy actually had invited me out to a show that he had in Newark, New Jersey. I'm sorry, because there's a
Because, yeah,
Newark, Delaware. There's a Newark, Delaware. I
yeah.
have to be careful. And that was at the Prudential Center.
Prudential Center. Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
and that was huge. And I got, backstage. He gave me, backstage passes, and that was huge. And then, I ended up getting this call for this Greensboro, show, and that was super amazing. Then I was told that they had another one in Houston, Texas. They were going to do that. I think, was it the following week after February 9th? Nevertheless, it was a week or two later, I think. But what happened was there was something that happened, I guess, in that area, that they ended up postponing that show, and they said that they were going to try to make the show up, if not in the same place, somewhere else. I'm still waiting for that call, but as you can see, that DJ Cassidy has been doing phenomenal even prior to
Absolutely.
that, but he is, oh my gosh. So right now he may still consider us doing that makeup, that same crew, or he may not. But nevertheless, I'm thankful for the opportunity. It was an amazing opportunity. And it just, started, like I said, sparking things more. So the answer to your question again, that DJ Cassidy back in March of 2021 started it. Then the 2024 came. I was doing little shows in between, though, in between then. And then after the 2024 show with Cassidy, I get a call from 50 Cent's people. The first Humor and Harmony
Mm.
event in Shreveport, Louisiana, August 2024. Amazing, another amazing opportunity. I was astonished when I got that, and I was like, yeah, listen, you don't even have to pay me for this one. I'm just going." Okay. Like that's how that was, because it was just an amazing opportunity. So myself, along with several other great artists, were there. That too was phenomenal. And to get a personal, one-on-one with 50 Cent, I so have that pinned to my IG page. I'm a huge fan of 50 Cent, so is my family. That was also an amazing experience. And then here we are today. Shows were coming in between here and there. And there are still, things out there, and they come in at times where it may be a heavy load of inquiries, and then sometimes it may slow down. It's like a wave. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. They come in waves. And again, I'm okay with this. This is not, the end all be all for me. I like I said,
Right.
I am also a registered nurse. But for my fans that love me and want to see me, I'm here. Thank you for promoters and DJs and people like yourselves for supporting me and letting my voice be heard and playing my music. And there's more to come.
Absolutely. Speaking of more to come, so now there's always the question. Once we get the single, is there an EP coming? Is there a full album coming?
Yes.
Have you gotten that spark to continue working on new music and seeking out producers? How is that process going now?
And thank you for the question. And kind of goes back to like what I was saying before. It's one of those things, like not trying to put too much expectations, just kind of going with the flow. So it's one of those things, you kind of put that out there, see how things flow. I do have people that have offered me tracks, and yes, I will be recording more music. If it's in the Lord's plan, more will be coming out. And so far, it does seem like that's in his plan. So, speaking of it, yes, I will be in the studio in some upcoming weeks, working with some great artists, even family members, and I'm excited. I just recently did a couple of shows actually. London, I tell you, they've been wanting me over there in that UK market, but this is.
Nice.
Yeah, December 27th of last year, I was asked to do, and that was an amazing story of how that promoter, said to me one of his dreams was to get one of these R&B legends from the US to come on over and to do a show. And for it was an honor for him to select me. Out of there's he could have selected anyone. He selected me, and I said, absolutely. So we handled what we had to handle. He got me over there December 2027. Great turnout with that show. I then was asked to come back in February, this month rather, February 8th. And that was an amazing show. That show actually had more artists: myself, Yvette Michelle, Ruffins, Changing Faces, Jay Holiday. I feel like I'm forgetting someone, but nevertheless, I blame it on the mind and not the heart if I did. But when that was a great opportunity, and they played my single over there on the big station over there in London. And so it's just been one thing after the next. And so they've asked if I am looking to do more music as well. And like I said to them, I am open for it. I am open for it. So if there's a full album coming out, I don't quite have the answer of a full album, but I can tell you to expect, more music from me, and prayerfully even music videos. So right now and again, we'll see how, fans and what they're feeling, with this new single. I've been getting great support and feedback. And now I'm gonna just, I'm ask for people if they can just go right on ahead on that Spotify and stream them Jones, and go to app stream that song, and go to Apple Music as well, and support me. It's been good from day one, and so I am thankful for all of those who have streamed so far.
Excellent. And we're going to
Yeah,
remind people to make sure wherever you get your music, get your copy of Nobody, the new
yeah.
single from Gina Thompson. Before we let you go, how do people find you, follow you, social media, all that stuff that, you have to have these days, or maybe
Yeah.
not, but,
Yeah.
but how do people find you these days?
Absolutely. So there are a few of my platforms out there, but I do encourage fans, friends, family. The biggest one that I am on right now is IG. But you're going to get most of my updates from IG. I will, the real Gina Thompson, I'm sorry, the real Gina Thompson IG is the most effective, communication for me. I just started branching out a little bit more on TikTok, YouTube, and again, it's Gina, the real Gina Thompson. But I will emphasize and stress that the real Gina Thompson IG is where most of my, communication is. I will say also, for booking, if I may share this as well, for
Sure,
booking,
please.
that information is also on my IG page, right on my front cover. But my point of contact, his name is Joe, and the email is actually M as in mom, JJST73 at gmail.com. So again, that's M as in mom, MJJST73 at gmail.com. Again, go right on the real Gina Thompson IG. That information is there as well. There is even a phone number there, our business line. You can DM me on IG. My team checks it routinely. I check it too, but usually my team does the responding because I'm so busy with so much other stuff. But you most certainly, I am reachable. Absolutely. So any support, again, is greatly appreciated. Again, I also do motivational speaking. So please feel free to go on my page, explore my page, and, come follow me.
Absolutely. And we're definitely going to have you back so we can talk more about the motivational speaking aspect and the mentorship, because I know you're doing that with younger artists as well in terms of mentoring them within the business and that sort of thing. So we'll have to have you back so we can talk more about that as well.
Sure, absolutely. With pleasure. And again, sincerely, thank you so very much for having me, for your support. And I wish you continued success and blessings in what you're doing.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So
You're welcome.
appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk to you. It's Rhythm and Soul Radio. We've been talking to Gina Thompson. The new single is Nobody,
Yeah.
and we're going to take a listen right now. Rhythm and Soul Radio.